Yeah, I want to give a testimony on one thing, another thing I tried with Spooky2, and I wanted to be. Well, I still can't promise nothing if you get the same kind of results, but I wanted to try to be more accurate. I mean, I'm not somebody that's, a medical person that has millions of dollars to test all these different people and different theories on people. But I have been hearing a lot of good things about Spooky2. But what I actually looked to, it's going to be about dental infections. Now, just let me preface this first because the one thing improved in my mind that Spooky2 works, and it's basically this little Mobius coil here that you have that transmits the frequency to the DNA in the body, and the DNA holder is inside, wafered between these two plates, the Mobius coil, and it transfers the frequency to the DNA throughout the DNA in the body. And these frequencies allegedly address a lot of different conditions. They could be detoxifying the body. They could be, trying to knock out microbes. That's what they allegedly do. Well, I tried something with cat fleas. I says, wow. I had a hard time believing it worked. I'm gonna preface this first with this story first, though, before I get into about the dental infections. And I'm trying to be more accurate with this, but I still can't promise nothing, and I still have a hard time wrapping my mind around how this works. It's pretty crazy, when you think about how this can transmit frequencies to your DNA from the DNA inside the Mobius coil. And it has a Rife generator attached to that coil I just showed. I mean, I'm not showing the whole 9 yards, but there's other videos that show like what I'm trying to do here. But what I did was, I got you probably know that I adopted the second cat, Rocky, on December 8th, 2014. Well, lo and behold, I found out this guy had a bunch of fleas on him, and I found out like around February of 2015. And I was like, I adopted him December 8th, 2013, and then I found out he had a lot of fleas. How time flies! February 2014, right? So, they were all over the place. I was like, I couldn't get rid of them. So I tried using a Rife device. I put 5 of the dead fleas in the Mobius coil at frequency 2750, and just let it run on a pure square wave, 2,750 hertz. And I didn't even, I heard about using that frequency with a plasma device, but I never heard about using it with a Mobius coil. And lo and behold, it got rid of all the fleas. Flat out got rid of them. I didn't notice where they were really knocked down for a few days, but a week later they were gone. And they never came back. Then this other cat that was outside my doorway going meow, meow, meow. That was little Goldie. Now he's big honey bear. I adopted him, and I just kind of let him in the house because he's freezing his ass off. We had the record cold. I got him in the end of November 2014, and I didn't notice any fleas on him at first. But he was an outside cat. I probably was about 5 months old or so at that time. I'm saying his birthday is May 30th, 2014. So he's going to be 1. But we found out later on, couple months later, when I brought him to the vet, he was loaded with fleas, and I knew there was some fleas because they started popping up, and it wasn't from Rocky because they were gone from March 2014. I didn't see any for 6 months from till Goldie came in. I didn't notice any, and the vet said that Goldie had fleas. So I did the same thing again. This time I only put 1 flea in a Mobius coil. And so that was around the end of January or beginning of February 2015. And they're gone. They're gone. I put a couple videos out on that. I says, I had a hard time, but that's twice that happened. And nothing. And if Goldie cat had it, the other 2 cats got it and got everywhere. It knocked them out. So I'm thinking, well, the principle of how this frequency transmits does work. Now, I want to say before I did what the dental infections, though, another example, though, I tried this. I tried this on Parkinson's. Did not work for somebody, a family, a cousin that has a little bit of Parkinson's in the left hand. It did not work. But when I used a contact device using the handhelds at frequency 6,000, it worked for the whole day. She only held the handhelds for 12 minutes. It knocked out the symptoms of the trembling. After she let go of those handhelds, there was like almost flat out pure steady. It was like that almost the whole day. The contact method worked. Now, what I use for contact method, I don't use Spooky. I usually use the Power Zapper 6-pack, which I don't have the wires attached to it. It's the 6-pack, and this is the My Plus, because it's very easy to carry around. I mean, because it's contact mode, I find it inconvenient. I mean, it's not impossible to do, but when I use the Spooky2, I got to be near the computer or near the generator. It's got to be plugged in the wall. This is battery operated, and this My Plus has 122 accurate frequencies. It pretty much covers everything. And I actually use this a lot. I use both of these a lot. Now, for my part about the dental infections, now I have dental insurance, I have health insurance, I have, the whole 9 yards, right? Now, one old filling I had, it was probably filled 30 years ago or something, the whole filling just came out, and so it was like almost the whole top of the half of the tooth, and it started getting like all swelled up down in here, right? And I says, whoa. And I didn't go to the dentist right away, So, and I do have insurance, and I do have a good dentist that's only 8 miles away and all that. There's like a gazillion dentists around here. Florida is the retirement freaking area of the world. There's dentists and doctors everywhere in the world. I'm actually going here. I'm going there Friday, but I'm going to tell the guy I don't want it fixed yet, even though I got the insurance, because I'm running this experiment. I ran dental infections and jawbone infections frequency, and then all the symptoms. It's like it doesn't bother me. It's just like part of the tooth is gone, but all the symptoms I had, it was going down in here and up in here, gone. And I was thinking, that's weird. I said, maybe it's just gone. So, and it took about a week before it was gone. It didn't happen like in 24 hours. So I stopped running it, right? It started coming back. The infection started coming back. And I says, let me just try to take a lot of vitamin C and different herbs. Let me see, I'm an experiment. I'm being a guinea pig, right? Now, this is just a testimony, because I can't freaking tell you this is going to work for you, but I'm trying to be accurate. And this is kind of really making me think, that's another thing that's making me think this technology is legit. But it may not work for everything, because I gave you the example with the Parkinson's. It didn't work except in contact mode. So it started getting more messed up down in, it was like it started getting swelled up here a little bit. Let me try the thing again. Dental infections and jawbone infections. I run it on inverted sawtooth wave in the program through the Mobius coil with some of my DNA, which is from the fingernail clipping, in a Mobius coil. Goes away. Couple weeks, it's totally gone. It's like I can't tell there's a problem, period. So I tried that again. Let me stop running it. It starts slowly coming back. So I started running, and it started getting pretty bad. I was like, let me run it again. It goes away. So, I can't say that's proof, but I got a big damn suspicion this stuff really does work. And, I think that's pretty handy, because I know there's a lot of people that might have like gum diseases and things. I don't know I don't want to say this is guaranteed to work, but that's, you see, if it's vibrating the frequencies into the DNA deep down, it should be getting really deep down where infections are. And I also noticed that a lot of the frequencies that some of these frequencies overlap. Like sometimes the dental and jawbone frequencies, they'll have a few specific that are specific to dental, but a lot of them are the general frequencies like 727, 787, 880, 465, 20. The ones that they pretty much run in every rife session that address a lot of different things. But that was 3 for 3. So I'm figuring cause and effect. And, I also seemed like the same thing with the cat fleas, that other thing that happened. And there was one other thing I did that I thought was really weird, was the vision to improve. I think it was frequency 1000. I'm pretty sure it was in frequency 1830. I noticed, like, if I was reading like the fine print on tax forms, usually my eyes are like, getting tired of reading this stuff, and I pull out a magnifying glass because it's not really that my vision's bad. It's just that my eyes get tired. And I think that's really what this vision to improve frequency does, allegedly. It probably relaxes your eyes and keeps some of the stress off. I'm not going to make a big claim here about that, but that was the other thing that freaked me out, because it says, here I got this tax form and I'm holding it out like this, and it's got this little, the fine print on the bottom. And I'm like, I can read that no problem. Even a copy of it, like it wasn't even like the best brand new copy. It was not a perfect copy. I could read that at arm's length during the end of the day after my eyes were tired with working with this stuff. I don't know. I mean, but I just got to reiterate, though, I tried something a lot with the Parkinson's frequencies on a remote method. It did not work. So, but the contact method seemed to work like crazy. But she doesn't want to do that. She wants to take the medicines from the doctor. So do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell people what to do. She wants to actually deal with the doctor, with the medicines and whatever, changes the dopamine and stuff. And it's really not that bad, but I was extremely surprised about how the contact method worked in that case, and the remote method didn't. So sometimes maybe one thing works better than another. I mean, I don't even want to tell people to buy these things, that you should buy them and try this. I mean, if you got these things, what I want to say is you might want to try some of the things that you think might not work. And if it doesn't work on a remote method, try the contact method. If you already have it, see what happens. If anybody has pets with fleas, now, if they're going outside, these guys, my cats are always inside. If they're going outside constantly, how I think that works with the fleas, it doesn't it's actually transmitting the frequency from the fleas that are in the DNA holder to the close relatives of the fleas that are, going to the other close relatives. That's how I think it's working. It's not affecting the fleas outside. So if you have an animal that's constantly running in and outside like a dog or a cat, and they're picking up fleas left and right, that is not going to work. These guys are always inside. So the fleas I put in here, now this might work with an indoor cat. I wish I had somebody else that had more confirmation on this. Like if you have an animal that's going outside all the time, I don't think it's going to work, because you're going to be picking up fleas from the outside that are not really related to the fleas that are in the DNA holder. But if you have an animal that's inside the house, well, if you have this device, try it out. Try that. I'm not telling you to go buy it to kill fleas. I'm not telling you that. But if you have it, and you have an indoor cat, and he has fleas or she has fleas, you might want to try that, because that really convinced me that the principle of this technology, where the frequency is actually going from the DNA holder to the organism itself. It's really happening, and I'm like, it's so freaky the way the technology is. It's hard to wrap your mind around it. But again, I want to say I tried that thing with the dental infections, and I don't. The guy's gonna probably get pissed off at me because I'm like, why'd you go? I was like, I'm not gonna even tell him. I'm not gonna tell the dentist about this spooky stuff. No. Mm-mm. I told the vet about it, and just like, I don't know. They didn't want to hear it. They wanted to hear about their super medicines they wanted to sell and stuff. They didn't want to hear about that. So I'm trying to be accurate with this, but I don't know 110% if the information I'm giving you is 100% accurate, because I personally find this technology pretty hard to believe. I find the technology where you use the contact method with the parasapper and the handhelds, I find that more easier to wrap my mind around, because you're actually putting a frequency through the body with the handhelds or the foot pads or some other types of plates or whatever. You're actually using a contact. The one where the frequencies are transmitted by quantum entanglement, and that is actually where they came up with this name Spooky, because Einstein is the guy I think who came up with that name Spooky, because now the product's name is Spooky2, but Einstein came up with that name for the phenomenon about quantum entanglement because it's freaky. I have to agree, and he didn't like it. I mean, it's not that I don't like it. I'm just like saying, how the hell is this? It's like you're seeing it work, and you're having a hard time believing it. And I guess it's almost like if somebody in the Middle Ages saw somebody call somebody up on his cell phone, or talking to him, and they'd be like, how the hell does that work? I mean, there's no cell phone towers back then or nothing, but you know what I mean. If somebody saw that technology, from 100 years ago, saw the technology we got today, they would think it was magical. But yeah, I think it does work, and that might be another super application of it for. Boy, I don't know if it would work. I would almost think. Would that? Let me ask the question: would it actually prevent gum disease? Would it? My guess is that it would, because like I said, I had the broken filling, and it was getting infected, and then I ran the frequencies, jawbone infections and dental infections, and the infection went away. I don't feel no symptoms of it at all. Stopped running it, slowly came back full bloom, ran it again, went away, did it again. Like I said, I can go. I have dental insurance. I have full coverage on medical insurance. I have all the 9 yards. I get medical blood tests and all this other stuff, right? And I don't want to tell medical people that I'm experimenting with this, because I don't know. Maybe they get mad. I don't know. Maybe they would get mad because say it works. Say it really does work for real, boy. Well, that's cutting into some serious money, and then Spooky gets attacked, But I don't want to say this works. I think it does, and like I said, I'm only one person trying this out. But like I said, I want to repeat it again. If you have usually a dog is not an indoor dog. Usually they run outside. So if you try that experiment with the fleas, I don't think it's going to work, because you're going to be picking up new fleas outside. If you have an indoor cat and it happened to have fleas, which they probably won't have because they're indoor, but say you did, take some of the fleas, put them in a Mobius coil, and if you have this device, I'm not telling you to go run out and buy it. If you have the device, and then run it on 2750, and let it run 24 hours, 2750 square wave, 50% duty cycle. I turn the amplitude all the way up, 10 volts up, 10 volts down, 20 volts point to point, and let it run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. after a few days, my experience was that I didn't notice any fleas. They were gone. And then I think I might have noticed one time with Rocky or something. But a week later, they were gone. Then I ran it for 2 solid weeks, and I was sure they were gone. And then nothing showed up months later. I thought this is pretty neat because, if you got 3 cats, you got, if one gets it, the other 2 get it, and then it goes all over the place, right? It's in the rug, it's in the furniture someplace, it's hiding on someplace here and there, wherever the cat goes. It just took care of all of them. And I'm not sure if the fleas are dead or they just left, but I think they were clobbered. I think they're dead. Because I don't know how they got out. What did they do? Just say, hey, we're out of here. We're just going to walk out the door or something. I mean, when I open the door. I mean, I think they're dead, But it got rid of them. So, this is another thing. I wish, I know people get mad at me, it's like, could you prove it? No, I can't freaking prove it. I'm trying to freaking see if it really does work. I tried 3 times, like I said, what it was. I stopped running it. I felt the jawbone infection again from the broken filling. And when I ran it, it went away. Stopped running it. And now I'm just running it 24/7. I'm actually wondering if the tooth's going to grow back, man. I'm curious about that. Boy, if that happened, it's just it's one in the back. It has the filling. There was a big filling on it, and it came off, and it took a little part of the tooth. They could put a cap on it real easy, But what's cool about this, it doesn't seem like I'd have any additional dental problem from, not going to the dentist right away. And I don't want to tell you not to do that, but I am being a guinea pig here, okay? I'm freaking playing this game, and I'm just curious, okay? So, take it for what it's worth. That's all I'm saying. It's a testimony. I'm trying to be very accurate, but I'm only one person. And I'm not telling you to go run out and buy this stuff for... because some people say, what am I selling this stuff? I am not selling this stuff, okay? I just into weird shit like this. You don't call it weird stuff. I mean, it is kind of weird. A lot of people don't hear about it. I like the Parazapper, though, a lot. Actually, I tell you this. If you want to try a contact device, I know, you think Parazapper you're probably better off getting a My Plus, but I think this was $389. A lot of people don't want to pay $389, even though it has 122 frequencies, and I know it's 100% accurate. I like the contact using the comfort of contact the most, because I can use it anywhere and any time I want without being near the computer. Very convenient. But, because I don't like to tell people to spend money, but if you want to try something with the Zapper, this Parazapper 6-pack is great. I think it was $109. I'm not selling it or nothing. I'm just saying that. And I'm looking at the other prices, the other Zappers. A lot of times, like a Bob Beck Zapper's a couple $100, usually, or $150, or at least $125. It's one frequency. And most of the Clark Bob Zappers, some of them are $50. They have 3 frequencies. But this has, I think, 12 or 14. I think it has 14 frequencies with it. 14? I believe it's 14. 14 frequencies. And I like the frequencies he's got included with it. And I checked both these devices. This one's dead on accurate. And this one is actually pretty accurate, too. It's more accurate than most Zappers. So, you don't want to blow a lot of money. I mean, that's a good contact device. And this is not a lot of money for what it is. And Spooky2, it's not a lot of money either. It's like a little more than $200 to get your basics. It's with the generator, the boost cable, and the remote. When you add the shipping in, it's a little over $200. So, I'm not selling it. I mean, some people say that. I just think it's cool. I mean, I think I'm finding out the stupidest thing. I'm thinking it's working, and I'm not one of these people that believes in this stuff, because most of the stuff when I try to research this stuff, to be quite honest, Anybody that is a believer in this technology, I really am a major skeptic of anything they say. Because they believe in it, and that means their opinion's already tainted. I'm finding out. I think it's legit. Now maybe these people that are believers in this technology are found out already. Like I'm starting to find out that it works. So I don't know. I'm not trying to convince anybody. Do what the hell you want. I mean, this isn't for everybody. And I'm not going to say it's guaranteed to work because I have to repeat myself again. I know one time when I tried it with the Parkinson's on my cousin, it didn't do a damn thing but the contact mode worked. She still don't want to use it though. But I observed that contact mode worked, and she was surprised too. It worked 12 minutes, it's frequency 6,000 square wave, the amplitude at 20 volts point to point, 10 volts point to point, 20 volts. And the symptoms of Parkinson's in the left hand was like almost obliterated for almost the entire day. I don't know why people call this quackery or snake oil. I don't know. Maybe I don't think it is. But I don't think it works all the time. That's the other thing. So you don't want to rely on it. That's what I ought to leave you with. Don't rely on this. Don't rely on this as your be-all, end-all safety valve. You know, there's a lot of stuff. The medical people know what the hell they're doing. Despite, this is the other caveat I have to say. You know how you got alternative people just think the medical people don't know anything? The medical people know a hell of a lot. I know they're all hooked up in pharmaceutical and they got certain procedures they got to do and it's money. But the medical people know a lot of stuff. They do. They do know a lot of stuff. They know what they're talking about. They don't know nothing about this technology because they never freaking really seen it, you know. And most of them would be very interested if they were allowed to freaking use it. But that's not how the game goes. So my point is, do not rely on this. You might want to try it, but don't rely on it. Just err on the side of caution.